Alright, let us go into the graveyard. Alright, so here we are at the graveyard. You know, since with all these remasters lately, they've been making great choices for games of remasters, like I said earlier with Crash, Spyro, and this game. Personally, I kind of wish that they would try and remaster, a lot of the most highly regarded classic games. Like I'm also thinking of Tomba, which is another very good choice to have a remaster or reboot in some manner. Okay, here we are. We got some zombies here. So, new book of Galamir entry. And as you see there in the top right corner with that chalice with the 3%, that fills up with every enemy you defeat. So we got to get the percentage of that chalice to 100 so we can get the levels chalice. So here's another book.
Welcome back to your beloved Galamir. The stinking dead have risen up to dance with the lifeless living, and they want to do it over your dead body.
Quite literally and figuratively. Oh boy. Alright, so we got two more zombies over here. Yeah! McDouble, put that on the grill. And it's no big deal if I keep getting a hit like this, because these guys don't really dish out so much damage. We can always refill the health in a little bit.
That small light following you around is a wisp. The heroes of the Hall are not supposed to intervene in mortal affairs, but when they heard that Sir Daniel Fortescue had a shot at redemption, well, they decided to give you a hand with your depth perception. He will circle enemies, helping you direct your ranged attacks, but he'll also let you know what things might merit a closer look.
So that's the little glowing thing that's circling around Fortescue, and of course he's pointing towards that enemy. It's pretty helpful to kind of keep a lookout for things. And like I said, when we were able to refill the health in a little bit, that little green fountain right there, that refills your health. But I'll go ahead and take care of these zombies real quick. Aha! Get out of here. Okay, so we can't get through there unless we get the little rune stone. Let's see. Ah, right here. I passed this stone right here. I passed the earth rune. Forgot about this little thing. So we need the earth rune to place it on this green hand. It's nice. This little thing is kind of telling you where to go next and whatnot. So,
Don't let zombies get you down. Tend those wounds by stepping into this fountain of rejuvenation.
so yeah, if you step into the fountain of rejuvenation, it refills your health. Like so. And they'll also refill the life bottles that you use. So if my health were to go down to 0, my life bottle will put to use. And say if the life bottle is full, which it is right now, whenever I run out of health, a full health bottle will bring me back to full health. So if it's really helpful to refill any health bottles you have, as well as your current health. Very helpful. So it's saying that if I have a ranged weapon equipped, like say these throwing daggers, I'm not going to use them. But you can just lock onto enemies by pushing the L1 button. So now we got the Chaos Rune. But not without reading this book first.
Sometimes it may be useful to view the world from a different point of view. Be sure to take a moment from time to time to enjoy the beauty of our beloved Galamir. Keep your eye peeled for anything interesting.
So we have to press in all the L2 button for the Dan cam. So it's pretty close to almost pretty much like the not so first person. Almost first person anyway. So let's get some more gold out of here. We're going to definitely need the gold so we can purchase some stuff. Now we'll at least double check to see if I haven't missed anything. Looks like I haven't. Alright, so go ahead and take another little refill. I mean, I know these health refills aren't really necessary, but rather be safe than sorry. So you take the Chaos Rune and put it in here. Open the door! Unleash! Release the Kraken! Release the Kraken! Get away from me! Get away from me, zombies! Ah! Talk about unleashing the horde! So we're already getting pretty close to filling up the chalice. Even more zombies. See, not really posing too much of a threat. They are taking a little bit of health, but that's no big deal.
Remember, nothing remains hidden under the gaze of an angel.
That means, see this angel statue right here? Well, if you hit it, the statue will turn, and the gate will open, which will lead into the first chalice.
The object here is the chalice. Every time you dispatch an enemy with a soul, the chalice fills a little more. Fill the chalice, and then collect it, and you will be worthy of visiting the sacred Hall of Heroes to claim a new weapon. There is a chalice to be found in every region of Gallowmere. They are all hidden or well guarded. Only a true hero will collect the full set.
Alright, so saying not all enemies have souls, killing most of the ones that do will fill the chalice, allowing you to collect it. Excuse me. So, Sir Daniel Fortescue is a true hero, so we're going to have him collect all the chalices throughout this entire LP. And of course, collecting this first chalice is basically how it works. So the game is, of course, doing what it should. Start us off nice and simple.
The living world lies beyond these skull gates. The master of the Hilltop Mausoleum, the stained glass demon, has possession of the skull key.
So that gate will come into play a little later down the road. More zombies! More zombies! So, we're getting pretty close to filling up the chalice. Not much longer now. So we gotta head down these steps. Oh, perfect! The chalice can now be collected. Let's go ahead and head back and grab that chalice. It really is nice to relive these classics being remastered. Hence Crash, Spyro, and now this. And soon enough, Final Fantasy VII. It's really nice for developers to look at these games and say, hey, yeah, these were great games. Let's go ahead and remaster them. Good moves on their part. So as you can see, the chalice can now be collected. Let's go ahead and grab it. The Hall of Heroes awaits. So whenever you collect the level's chalice, you can go into the Hall of Heroes, which we'll definitely look into whenever I complete this level. And I'm trying to double check and see if I missed anything around here. Okay. Okay. Don't worry, there's going to be another health-filling, fountain of rejuvenation here in a little bit. It's a little bit down there. We can get some more gold from this chest here. Ah! The Horde have been unleashed again! Triple play, cable, internet, and phone, all for one low monthly rate. So, here's some of these merchant gargoyles. So, unfortunately, all he's asking for is some throwing daggers. I probably won't buy any throwing daggers for the time being. I've got plenty as it is. Not to mention, I don't really use the throwing daggers all that much. And of course, as you can see, since the chalice meter is all the way filled up, you know, just killing these enemies are just going to be killing the enemies. Might as well go ahead and kill them all, because they can be pretty bothersome if you let them go. So here's another little fountain, so we can refill my health. Just go ahead and fill it up a little bit, because I'm going to just go ahead and kill all the remaining enemies. And you want to talk about zombie apocalypses? This is it. Alright, so we get another copper shield, because normally you'd have to use the shield to, you know, try and defend yourself, but of course the shields have wear to them. They'll kind of wear off for every time you have to try and defend yourself.
Feel free to have a paddle in the shallow water, but don't be tempted to go for a swim. Buoyancy can be a problem for those of a dead disposition.
No kidding. Alright, so I think that should be all the enemies here. I'll go ahead and take a quick refill. Ah, yes. It's just so good to be reliving this game again.
Tread softly. Zarek awaits beyond these gates. The Master meets with the demon from the mausoleum, hatching plots of purest evil. Forgotten nobodies would be wise to make themselves scarce.
Yeah, I find that weird on how they decided to use the original voices from the original game. I guess they couldn't really find any actors for the gargoyles, or they just thought, hey, let's just go ahead and use the original gargoyle voices. Why not? It'll work. Alright, so the slime trail, meaning the end of the level. Let's go ahead and take the end of the level. For the Hall of Heroes awaits. So here's our first visit to the Hall of Heroes.
Welcome to the Hall of Heroes, where the bravest warriors from history spend eternity, feasting, singing, and arm wrestling. If they think you're worthy enough, you may be able to persuade them to give you a new weapon.
So yeah, the visit to the Hall of Heroes would be to gain additional items like new weapons. So yeah, it's another merchant gargoyle, so we can buy throwing daggers. I guess I'll go ahead and buy maybe a couple throwing daggers. I think that'll do for the time being. Okay, that's silly right there. He's eating the gold. That's silly. New Book of Gallimere entry unlocked. So there's the chalice sitting in the middle of the, floating in the middle of the table. Come on, there you go. So the one means we have one chalice collected.
To pay homage to the heroes, stand in front of their designated statues and await spiritual guidance.
So what we're supposed to do now, we're supposed to stand in front of a statue with their pedestal glowing. As you can see, the one in front of me is glowing. So we're supposed to communicate with this statue of this hero.
Captain Fortescue, it's me, Canny Tim. Does the battle go well? How I wish I could fight at your side again, sir. But hold, you could take my crossbow. It's got rapid fire and you can ricochet the darts off walls to shoot around corners. I used it at the Battle of Gallimere. After you were slain, I shot Zarek's champion, Lord Kardok. A clean kill through the eye at some 1,000 yards. Not that there's anything clever about shooting someone in the eye, sir. Oh, goodbye, sir.
Alright, so we already got our first hero weapon. It's the crossbow. And the same thing with the statues. They decided to keep the original voices. I guess they were like, oh, these original voices sound pretty funny, so let's just go ahead and keep them in anyway. I mean, they do sound funny. I mean, because this game, in my opinion, I know it's a horror game, but I wouldn't say it's like it's definitely not a horror. It's more like some sort of like a comedy horror, I would say. Because this game doesn't really try and pull off anything that's like, completely gruesome or anything like that. Like, your typical horrors. But I mean, there's quite a couple of silly moments throughout this entire game, like the voices, for instance, especially, and the jokes that they throw in. And I guess the difference in terms of voices so far is definitely Daniel Fortescue's voice, because Fortescue's voice in the original kind of sounds like a bit more like like as if he was speaking through a helmet. Not so here. I mean, maybe just a little bit, but just not much. So, of course, yet another book.
Only when you are truly worthy as a hero will you be able to ascend to the higher level of this hall. When you have paid homage to all of the heroes in the lower hall, the ghostly stairs will then become solid.
So as the book says, we cannot go up these steps just yet. They will become solid whenever we interacted with all the statues here on the lower level. So the only thing we can do is just go right through them. We can only go through the ghost steps. So we have to wait until we interact with all these statues down here. Except this one, because that's obviously the statue of Fortescue right there. So yeah, there's not that many statues down here in the lower level. Let's have a good look at that chalice right there. That actually looks really cool. The floating chalice, but there's the chalice right there. There's our first chalice. Does anything interesting happens? I guess not. Oh, you can knock it over. Oh boy, that's pretty silly. I don't think I've ever tried. I don't think that was in the original, but that's pretty cool on how the chalices will be collected here on this table. That's pretty cool. But of course, there'll be a lot more visits into the Hall of Heroes whenever we collect all the chalices. So whenever you're ready to exit the Hall of Heroes, can I not put them back on the table? I guess I'll have to. I guess the chalice will go back on the table the next time we come back here. So whenever you're ready to exit the Hall of Heroes, stand back in the place we came in at. So we're off to a pretty good start here, folks. So, the fog has been cleared a little bit again, and another level is available to us.